We don't have the hang-ups, neither do we have the burden of the past. We grew up attending federal government colleges across Nigeria. We rode on the trains that drove from ENUGU to Kaura and Amoda. Students went to Federal Government College, Sokoto, Federal Government College, Maiduguri. People went to government colleges in different places in Nigeria. And that generation is about to turn 60. The first set of them, those born in 1960, have turned 60. They've retired. I believe that those of us born after the war, the first set was pre-war children, but the independence children have retired and they haven't done much to Nigeria. The mission of the post-Civil War, those born between 1970 and all the way down to 1980, is to redesign Nigeria, to create incentives for development, to join the coalition of hope, to restore integrity to our elections, and to think of the purpose and meaning of Nigeria so that we are all working, all our institutions are working to realize our manifest destiny as a nation.
Okay, so I have kind of the same question from Umaru Dare Baba and from Bernard Obima. You have presented great ideas. What are your thoughts on the impact of regionalism, tribalism, and religion in our politics, especially when politicians have used these factors to get into power, and what's the way forward? Bernard Obima then takes a different spin to it to say, in the Southeast, do you agree with those who argue that we should abandon the national project and politics and concentrate on developing the states? So it's kind of related, but if you can take both of them together.
So until any region successfully instills the ideals of merit, liberty, freedom in their state and become a development organization. And I will say this, it will be controversial. Lagos State is the only state that has tried to become a development state in Nigeria. And not only did he become a development state, he built a broad elite consensus that have allowed seamless transfer of power from people you will identify as no pushovers. Fashola ended up being the Minister of Works, Housing, and Power in Nigeria. His outcomes are questionable. You can debate it, but he has left the position and he's freely walking around Nigeria, still delivering speeches and talking freely. Most people who went on to become ministers such powerful end up in EFCC. Ambode did that in Lagos, you know, tough guy, went through the public service, and then we have now Sanwo-Olu in Lagos. So you could see that there is a deliberate design to continue to offer imaginative and strong leadership in Lagos. So I want to see that region in Nigeria that has taken a development approach, since no region has taken it. And I want to believe that our regions were heading towards crisis in 1960 to 66. I keep saying this and I hope people will hear me. In 1965, the whole of the Eastern region, 1964 election, boycotted the election. The East did not participate in the election. And the MPC still got enough seats to form government. It took Zik 5 days to call Tafawa Balewa to form a government. And part of what Tafawa Balewa promised was that there will be constitutional reforms to change the character and the structure of the state. That was why the East agreed to now do their own election in March of 1965. So Nigerian issues have never been, is this design problem? Nigerian issues have always been there. There was no time it was glorious and that there were no issues. No, our political crisis, the minorities were fighting in the Middle Belt, the Thief crisis. The core states, Cross River, Gojari rivers, were fighting for independence in the East. The Midwest was agitating for independence. So I'm saying that no region has shown me that they have the capacity to think, especially monolithic region like the Southeast. So there is no way we can look upon Nigeria and say to Nigeria, we are better than you. Yeah, we are doing well in education and co, but nothing in our system have shown that we are the best region where people can live, that people will migrate from other places and say, I'm going to live in the East because it's a thriving place. The people recognize merit. They have days for recruitment of civil servants. You can see their civil service academy. You can see the academy is like the Singapore Public Service Academy. You can see the quality of people. You can see the systems that they put in place to run their area. There is digitized land tenure system. So if you get a C of O in the East, you can take it to any bank. So we need to show that there is something any region has done very well that will warrant us to keep arguing about regionalism. Now, for those who say that, yes, I'm one of those who agree that Nigerian states can actually come together at their subnational level and give Nigeria examples. So when you talk about the nation, what they call it in America, the health insurance for all, it was actually started by the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Before it was Massachusetts, under, I think it was Romney or before Romney, that forced everybody to have an insurance. That is what Obama cascaded as the Obamacare. So America's strength is in its 50 states laboratory. So people try things in the state. When it works, the federal government kind of takes it over and spreads it. So Nigeria have 36 states to show examples. The unfortunate thing is that each governor has struggled to bring somebody that they're bigger than so they can control the person, and each state has been going down one step after the other. But we're hoping that one or two states can rise to show that example that the nation can copy.
I have a question that should be a natural follow-on to your last comment, but let me go to a different question before I come back to that. There is an anonymous attendee that says, another trouble with Nigeria is lack of patriotism on the part of the leaders and the led. What practical ways can we use to reignite the spirit of patriotism that reminds us we are all stakeholders responsible for the smooth sailing of the ship called Nigeria?
There's no such drug to take and become patriotic. Patriotism is not a disease that you can, or a vitamin that you can inject in people. Again, it is about our national consensus.
No, but there's some practical things, Ikobosi. For instance, set up the unity schools to solve a particular problem, right?
Yes.
To bring people together. There's some practical ideas that we can use in getting people to become more patriotic.
So that's what I'm saying. The federal government colleges then disoriented again because it now became an avenue for the elites to move their children to federal government colleges. Permanent secretaries, directors in the civil service now started having slump to bring people. After a while, that failed woefully. The National Youth Service was designed, in fact, 1970s was our greatest effort as social engineering to provide national unity and to promote patriotism. But what is happening is that so long as a state is of an extractive nature, of a distributional nature, when the people that finish going to all those things will go back to their states and argue that it is the turn of their own people to produce the chief engineer in the ministry. Every time they produce chief engineer, it has always been from the other side of the state. So it is our turn now to do it. Why are people who went to National Youth Service coming back again to still plead those things? Why didn't they settle in the states where they did youth service and rise to become permanent secretaries? Because of the distributional nature of the Nigerian state. So I'm saying that the practical steps that can be taken is to fundamentally just have that agreement on what is the purpose of Nigeria. So if our purpose is to build the greatest Black nation, to create opportunity for our best and the brightest, to create an opportunity for justice, equity, not unity and freedom and faith, to create that minimum quality, a nation where no man is oppressed, then we can then now begin to design our institutions to know that every Nigerian will say, for the money I got from look at what I told you about University of Nigeria at 100,000. That is a huge subsidy from the Nigerian state. But the Nigerian state has never said to anybody, the cost of us training you by the allocations we pay is actually 7 million naira, but you paid only 1.2 million. Nigerian states have never shown that there is benefit to being Nigerian. Because if you go to Ahmadu Bello and graduate from there, man, you collected, even compared with Bayes University. I went to study law in Bayes. I was paying 2.5 million a year. In my time, I paid 10 million to graduate from law school, from Bayes University. Now it's 3.5 million, 4 million now in a year. And this same law is what they are doing in ENUGU for 125,000. Just imagine, even if you use Bayes as a denominator, 10 million and 1 million for 1 year. This is the subsidy Nigerians are receiving from the Nigerian state. But the Nigerian states haven't been able to say this to Nigerians, articulate it, that Despite our weakness, we have continued to deliver some value.
Ikobosi,
Yeah.
I'm running out of time, but I must get to
Yes.
this question that really puts you on the spot. And it's from Chukwebuka Obele. He has a two-part question. The first